Chapter 1074. A Moving Treasure Vault Translator, Myoibo Studio Editor, Myoibo Studio. Towering mountain ranges stretched across the land, and above the mountains was a great space whirlpool. A silver-winged and silver-armored man walked out of the whirlpool. He stood in the sky and looked around. All was silent. "Based on the information I have," said Luo Feng, "during the first few hundred of years when the original stars were open, it was more likely for valuables to be born, and the great beings who had suppressed their desire for an eternity were more excited. This led to more killings. However, after that time, almost all the great beings have gone into hiding." Luo Feng shook his wing and started to fly. He looked down at the ground. Although he had arrived at another original star, there weren't significant differences among the original stars. After flying for half an hour, he saw a purple object in a lake in a mountain valley below. He immediately stood on the lake with his feet, and walked to the target. "What is this?" Luo Feng picked it up and examined it. It was a purple cloth that was about 30 square feet in size. Luo Feng penetrated it with a trace of his godly power, and the information contained in it flooded his mind. The treasure was called Imitation of Purple Sky. The invisible godly power could immediately enlarge the purple cloth to cover enemies instantly. Although it was only a treasure, it was the first time that Luo Feng had seen a treasure that looked like a cloth. He sensed that it was a top-tier spiritual force weapon. "Imitation of Purple Sky," Luo Feng whispered. "The name is bizarre. Could there be a more powerful valuable named Purple Sky? Why would a valuable born in the original stars is called Imitation of Purple Sky?" The more Luo Feng thought about it, the more mysterious he found the universe to be. He already stood among the supreme beings in the universe, but there were still many secrets waiting for him to uncover. This treasure might be worth thousands of treasure points. "I'm really lucky," Luo Feng smiled. This was what usually happened in the original stars, and many great beings were aware that there were numerous valuables on the original stars. However, there were usually many great beings gathering here as well. No matter how many valuables one obtained, once he was killed, he was doing others a favor. Only those with great power could roam the original stars. Like Luo Feng didn't need to be afraid of universe overlords anymore. As for universe masters, they couldn't teleport themselves on the original stars. And if a universe master arrived, Luo Feng would have known about it through the virtual universe and hid himself away. Besides, with Luo Feng's power, universe masters' control over space and time didn't intimidate him. Luo Feng strolled on the original star as if he were in the garden of his own home. He was waiting for an opportunity, and his remote ocean body was connected to the virtual universe and waiting for the update about Tianyang Night. Once he got it, Luo Feng would immediately race to where Tianyang Night was. 29 hours after Luo Feng arrived at the original star, a giant, two-headed being lay in the forest. His skin looked like purple crystals. The armor on his godly body was dimming, and he was lying there, waiting for an opportunity. He was an energy life form, a great being from the purple smelting race. The fact that he was walking alone on the original stars proved that he was a universe overlord. energy life forms were one of the few races who were naturally immune to soul attacks, and the purple smelting race belonged to that category. They preferred to be closer to the ground. Many life forms loved to sit when they practiced, but great beings from the purple smelting race loved to lie down. Flourishing Light Horde leader lay with one of his head's eyes closed while the other had them open, fully alert. All his eyes suddenly opened, and he spotted a human shape flying across the sky between the leaves of the forest. It's a human. Flourishing Light Horde leader stood up. A silver wing. And that look. Flourishing Light Horde leader looked shocked. Isn't that the legendary talent of the human race, Luo Feng? That true treasure wing? How is it possible? Though that human killed Bark Mirror Emperor, he is, after all, only undying. He is, at most, as powerful as a secondary universe knight, and those who dare to show up on the original stars are at least senior universe knights. Flourishing Light Horde leader was thrilled to see Luo Feng. After all, Purple Smelting Race was one of the numerous races that belonged to the Northern Territory Alliance, and Bark Mirror Emperor, who had been killed by Luo Feng, was from the Northern Territory Alliance. The great beings from the Northern Territory Alliance surely knew about Luo Feng. Additionally, the great beings who had inside information had already extrapolated that this peerless genius had at least 6 true treasures: a soul-type true treasure, a spiritual force weapon true treasure, a wing true treasure, and an armor true treasure. Plus, he had at least 2 true treasures from the ancestral god school. 6 true treasures were much more than all that many universe overlords had, especially soul-type true treasures, which were ardently desired by universe overlords. They all perceived Luo Feng to be weak, as he was only undying. He was like a human-shaped, moving vault full of valuables available for the taking. There were even discussions within the Northern Territory Alliance that if Luo Feng entered original stars, it would be like giving true treasures away to those lucky great beings of other races. However, all the races had assumed that Luo Feng wouldn't be stupid enough to enter the original stars. Based on the information gathered, Luo Feng hadn't gone to the original stars in the past 20,000 years. He's here, and I haven't got any news. Am I the first one to find him? Both of Flourishing Light Horde leader heads were raised up and looked at Luo Feng as he flew. He's a peerless genius in the human race. I didn't think he'd be stupid enough to put himself in danger. He was both exhilarated and wary. Luo Feng surely had something to save himself. However, after hesitating for 3 seconds, Flourishing Light Horde leader reached a conclusion. Humph. He's only undying. Even if he has a trump card to save himself, can that kill me? Only Universe Masters are able to do that. It's impossible for him to hide a Universe Master in his world ring. Flourishing Light Horde leader smirked. I don't need to worry about what he has. He can't threaten my life. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, thought Flourishing Light Horde leader. A human-shaped moving vault full of valuables. I can get at least 6 true treasures if I kill him, and I can exchange one of his true treasures for a senior true treasure armor. The soul-type true treasure Luo Feng had was useless to him, as he was a life form from Purple Smelting Race, but he could still exchange it for something he desired. It's an opportunity I can't miss. If I do, I'll regret it for billions of years." The eyes on Flourishing Light Horde leader glinted fiercely. "Su." He started to speed up in silence either forest. As for Luo Feng, he was flying in the sky at a moderate speed and looking down at the ground, and Flourishing Light Horde leader caught up with Luo Feng immediately. ********* Luo Feng didn't notice Flourishing Light Horde leader at the beginning, but Luo Feng saw him when he flew out of the forest. Human. Flourishing Light Horde leader surged, and his purple crystal skin was glowing. Both of his heads turned to face Luo Feng, and his eyes glared at him. Luo Feng looked down and frowned. Flourishing Light Horde leader from the Northern Territory Alliance. Luo Feng immediately identified him and took out his cutting pearl sword. "Die!" Flourishing Light Horde leader shouted. All 6 arms of Flourishing Light Horde leader reached out, glowing with a cold light, and when they approached each other, Hong, Long, Long, their surroundings were trapped in Time Law domain, which also affected Luo Feng. Flourishing Light Horde leader took the chance and attacked him. "He puts all his efforts into fighting me, the legendary Undying Fighter," Luo Feng thought. "He used Law domain first, after which he is now going to start attacking me. No wonder he's a universe overlord." Hua, hua, hua. The sky started to glimmer as if stars were shining, but all the lights looked aggressive. It was as if they all sought to kill Luo Feng directly. Luo Feng still held his cutting pearl sword still after seeing this. Flourishing Light Horde leader's technique, Flourishing Light World? Luo Feng nodded. "I'll use you to test the training I've had in the past 180 million years." Luo Feng, who had already burned his godly power, started to move the sword in his hands. Meanwhile, engravings showed up on the blade. The engravings were delicate, elegant, and mesmerizing. When Luo Feng waved the sword, gold and space merge law were triggered. "You dared to fight back," said Flourishing Light Horde leader. "Even if you have an ordinary true treasure armor, you'll die under this attack." And then, Flourishing Light Horde leader was terrified. "What's that?" he gasped. A gleaming, golden light, cold, fierce. It slashed through all the flourishing lights, and the technique of Flourishing Light Horde leader was shattered, smashed like an ant. The golden light hit Flourishing Light Horde leader's armor, and the power was so strong that the ordinary true treasure armor could only weaken half the power from the attack. The rest of the attacking power was all taken by Flourishing Light Horde leader's body. Howl! A roaring sound from afar blasted the ears of Flourishing Light Horde leader. I. Flourishing Light Horde leader still floated in the sky. And then, just like that, his godly body was annihilated and disappeared into thin air. Only his black armor and 6 lights were left. Luo Feng stood in the sky and smiled.